Eric here for Scooby Doo Files. Case File 69001. Scooby and the gang stumble on their first mystery, a suit of armor inside the front seat of an abandoned pickup truck. When the gang delivers the armor to the county museum, the curator, Mr. Wickles, informs them that this Black Knight comes alive every full moon. And there's a picture of the Black Knight right there, and this is the Scooby Doo Encyclopedia. Scooby Doo, where are you? Episode 1, What a Night for a Night, aired September 13th, 1969, and this is the only one with a special opening. Scooby Doo, What a Night for a Night. You see some guy driving a pickup truck with a crate in the back. Then all of a sudden, the crate opens up and a Black Knight appears. Then he's looking through the window of the back of the truck. In this scene, we meet Shaggy and Scooby. They're walking home late from the movies because Scooby-Doo had to stay and see Star, Dog Ranger of the North, twice, and they hear something in the bushes, and Shaggy tells Scooby to go investigate, and when he does investigate, Scooby finds a frog on his nose, and Scooby wants to play with the frog, so Scooby chases the frog, and Shaggy chases Scooby, but Scooby loses the frog and stops abruptly, and Shaggy's still running, and he trips over Scooby, and that's when they find the abandoned truck, and they find the suit of armor inside the front seat of the pickup truck, but no driver. And the helmet from the armor falls off and scares Shaggy and Scooby, and they run to go call their friends, the Mystery Gang. In this scene, we're introduced to Fred, Daphne, and Velma. And on the crate, it says the driver's name is Professor Hyde White, and the Black Knight armor was from London. So they are looking for clues to see where the professor was taken the Black Knight to. And Daphne finds a slip of paper on the ground that says where the Black Knight was headed. In this scene, Mystery Inc. is in the county museum with the Black Knight, and they meet the curator, Mr. Winkles. And he said, I should thank you for delivering the Black Knight, but with Professor Hyde White's disappearance, I wish you hadn't. And they say, why? And he says, because of the legend that the Black Knight comes to life when the moon is full. And Shaggy goes, like the moon was full last night. And Scooby's walking around the museum, and he finds these glasses on this dragon statue, and he takes them. In this scene, you see Scooby and the gang in the Mystery Machine, and Shaggy says, let's go get some food. And Scooby pops up wearing those glasses, and he's like, yeah. And they're like, where did he get those glasses from? They must have gotten from the museum. And Scooby says, yeah. And they say, well, I wonder what kind of kooky things you could see with those. And Velma says, well, there's one way to find out. Let's go to the library. In this scene, you see the Scooby Gang found a book that talks about those glasses. And Velma's reading, and she says, they're used by dealers, jewelers, and archaeologists. And she says, hang on to your hula hoops, folks. Made only in England. And they're like, England? Archaeologist, Professor Hyde White. And Fred goes, all right, there's something definitely fishy happening at that museum. And Scooby says, who? And he's like, that's right, Scooby. Tonight, we're going fishing. Scooby and the gang go back to the museum at night, and Daphne says the museum's creepy at night, and Shaggy says it's creepy during the day. So they break into the museum by Shaggy getting on a ladder with a jack and jumping into a window and crashing down on a bunch of antique pieces in the museum. And he opens up the back door. And they go walk around the museum, and they split up into two teams. So it's Daphne and Fred go one way, And Velma and Shaggy go another way, and they tell Scooby to stand guard, but he gets scared of his shadow, so he runs after Shaggy and he jumps on him. And Shaggy's like, "It's all right, you could come with us." So they're searching for clues in the museum, and Shaggy comes past the window and he closes it because he goes, "You know what that full moon does to that black night?" Scene, you see Shaggy knock it on the black night and says, "Sure glad it's empty." Well, later on in the next scene, you see Scooby and Velma going off together, and Scooby's so scared his teeth are chattering so bad that Velma goes, "Wait a minute, I got it." And she wraps Scooby's mouth up with a bandana, and they are walking around. Well, Scooby turns around and he sees the Black Knight for the first time moving alive. And he tries to tell Velma, and she says, "Not now, Scooby." And he does it again. She says, "Not now." And he runs and he knocks her over, and she loses her glasses. Well, when she does that, she's looking for her glasses, and the Black Knight trips over her, and he gets caught in a some kind of trap. And Shaggy, she keeps telling him, "Shaggy, you should have took your medicine if you have a cold." And the Black Knight's going, "Rah, rah." And she said, Shaggy shows up, and he goes, well, and he eats the medicine. He's like, "Let's get out of here." And she says, "You see, you sound better already." In this scene, you see the Black Knight because Scooby Doo found a dinosaur, and he saw the leg of the dinosaur, and he got kind of hungry, so he took the leg off, and it cut that curtain. The Black Knight was there, and he was like, "Arr!" And so Scooby threw up the whole dinosaur, and it fixed himself, and he went, "Sorry. Bye-bye." In this scene, after the dinosaur scene, Scooby found the rest of the gang, and he was running, and he jumped into Shaggy again, and Shaggy got knocked down, and when they looked on the wall, this picture was missing from the wall. And when Shaggy went and got the gang and told them to come investigate this, the picture was back. But there was red stuff on the floor, and Daphne went, "Well, if that's blood," and Fred put his hand down, and it was paint. Paint led a trail to the mummy case, and when they opened up the mummy case, they found an art studio where somebody was painting the pictures in the museum, making copies. So they were art swindlers. Well, while they were in there, Fred was like, "Well, let's go get the sheriff." And Daphne was like, "We could take this back door out." And danger-prone Daphne, there was the Black Knight standing in the doorway, and he chased Scooby, and Scooby hid behind a painting, and so did Shaggy, and he punched the painting, and Shaggy stuck his head out and said, "Scooby, do something!" So Scooby ran out and got a canvas and got some red paint and squirted paint on the canvas and squirted paint in the face of the Black Knight. And the Black Knight started chasing him all around the museum. The Black Knight chased Scooby, Shaggy, and the whole gang around the museum. And the Black Knight chased them into this room where Daphne, Freddy, and Velma were hidden in this tower thing. Shaggy and Scooby were in this plane, and Shaggy threw his voice into the next room and said, "Help, get me out of this pot." And the Black Knight looked in the pot, and he wasn't there. Scooby was laughing so much that he accidentally turned on the plane. And when the plane started, the plane went right through the door and broke the wings off of the plane, and it was still going. The Black Knight was scared, and they were chasing the Black Knight in the plane, and they wound it up hitting the side of the Black Knight and knocking him to the ground, and they found out that the Black Knight was none other than Mr. Winkles, the curator. After Scooby and the gang had Mr. Winkles unmasked from being the Black Knight, the sheriff had him in handcuffs. Well, they were still wondering because they never found Professor Hyde White. Well, there's this statue thing they kept passing by all day, and the eyes were moving. And Scooby comes running up with a shoe, and he takes them to it, and the sheriff pulls off the head and the shirt of it, and it's Professor Hyde White. They found him. And he's talking to Scooby and the gang at the end of the episode, and the suit of armor of the Black Knight is in a chair, and it starts moving. And Shaggy goes, "Oh, it's alive." And it was Scooby Doo. And he goes, "Scooby Dooby Doo." And that was the end of the episode of Scooby Doo, Where Are You? What a Night for a Night. This has been Eric for Scooby Doo Files 1969. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, because next video is going to be Case File 69002 of Scooby Doo, Where Are You?